All right, so now that we have a animation system in place where we hit W, D, or A, we have our characters. Now it's supposed to be moving horizontal. So let's take a look at coding out our horizontal. So I'm opening up my script here, and at the top here, I'm just going to break this up a little bit more, give myself a little space, and I'm going to just kind of comment the following variables are used for movement. And so let's say that we want to add a float here. We're going to make it public so we can kind of see these in the viewport. And it's going to be float. We're going to call this move horizontal. And I'm going to copy this again, paste it, and it's going to be move vertical. All right, let's save that out. And you'll need a vector3. And this one is going to, let's comment it. This variable will store our values from the horizontal and vertical axes. I think we spell axes. And that's just going to be a vector3, and we're going to call that movement. We'll make that public too, just so you guys can see it. A lot of times it's better to just kind of, for clarity, because right now if we look at our character, look at that script, as it compiles, you'll notice that now we have all these visual, but I'm kind of making a lot of them public so you can see them right away. So for example, as we're pushing horizontal, you'll see the numbers go up and down. All right, so let's kind of speed this along. Looks like we got a good chunk. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do this. So as I'm pushing my horizontal here, what I want to do is I want to assign this move horizontal value. I'm going to constantly update. Remember, this runs every frame. Whatever the pressure that's being pushed is. So I can type in here move horizontal equals, let's see, lost my space. There we go, let's close this out. Move horizontal equals the value that we have here. Let's save this. And actually, I'm going to change my update to a fixed update. Fixed update is better when you're doing physics calls like moving things like rigid bodies. I'll get into different types of updates later. Actually, I've done it in previous videos. So this is going to, as we're holding it, it's going to store that value. And then we want to move our guy. So let's go to movement equals we'll make a new vector3 because we haven't assigned that yet. And let's see if this works out okay. If not, we might have to copy and paste all this stuff out of our if statement. We're going to move horizontal 0.0f, 0.0f. So that looks about right. So if it's not equal to 0, we're going to do this. So let's see if that works. It looks like it's reading the value. See how it goes all the way to negative as I'm pushing it? So they're being stored, right? See how it's stored and move horizontal? It's just not moving our character. And the reason is, I'll tell you why right now. We didn't add any force to our rigid body. All we did is assign these variables, but we didn't do anything with it. So what's actually we're gonna use movement for is this rigid body right here. So what I can say is, I might be able to kind of paste it out here. Let's try it out here first. Our rigid body, we're going to use something called add force, and that's going to be movement. So this is the value that we're pushing in times speed, and that's the global variable that we made that float to help us control the speed. So let's see if this works for us. let's try to add, where's speed at? Let's add 10 to it. Looks like it was moving. See it moving there? Okay, so there's a couple things we need to do to change that. So that it doesn't rock, we're actually going to, in our rigid body here, we're going to lock the y-axis here. We're just freezing the position. So there we go. So now as I move left and right, we're getting that value. It slides a little bit. We can get it a little less. We can make it slide a little bit more. Actually, what I'm going to do is I can freeze position on Y and just kind of bring it a little closer to the ground here. All right, so looks good. Slides a little bit. So we kind of got a little bit of a pop can sliding game. We'll fix that stuff later. All right, let's do the same thing. I'm going to copy this code without that rigid body. I'm just going to copy it, and we're just going to change a few things around. So I'm going to paste it. Now, what we want to do is there's a horizontal. What we want to change is vertical. And so we're going to be looking for a lot of areas. So a quick way to do it is if we click on rename. Let's see if we can highlight this and see if it'll let me do rename. No, it's not going to let you. Okay, so let's comment this out really quick. Movement for horizontal using let's put these in quotes, A and D keys. And then I'm going to copy these guys here. And I'll paste over this. I'm going to change this to vertical. I'm going to copy vertical from here, paste it in here, and change vertical here. All right, so we're storing the axis on the vertical. Remember, vertical is, just as a reminder, we'll go back up here, edit, project settings, input. Remember, vertical is S and W. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, and I'm going to push W. Make sure I click in my view. Is not set up. Did I spell that? V-E-R-T-I-C-A-L? Let's see what there is. V-A-E-R-T-I-C-A-L. Move vertical. Oh, I think this is the error. We have move horizontal equals that. And that's not what we want. We want this. And we want this pasted in there. And what I'll do is I'll maximize this code in a second, and I'll let you guys pause it. And you guys should pause the video, but let's see. What's going on? Let me make sure this is spelled correctly. If input.x is vertical, this is actually W and S keys. Vertical. We're going to get the axis vertical. I'm just making sure this is all spelled right. Vertical, make sure there's no space in there, because that could have been what was screwing us up the whole time if that had that space. We're going to set our walk to false. Let's try it again. Hopefully it removes this error. Just gotta hit play. So I see the error in my code. I had an actual space here. So you have to be very meticulous in that. So let's go ahead and take a look. And also I changed it. Notice move horizontal is on X. Vertical is on Z, so I move vertical here. So before I conclude the tutorial, I just want to show you that it's mapped with the up and down arrow key. So as I push forward, you can see our character hops. As I move to the right, our character moves to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of a turning radius in a future video. But for now, go ahead and, as I slowly scroll through this, pause it and sort of type it out as you go, double checking it. This is kind of the big one. Pause it out here. It's the end of this script.